Welcome to the TMEA 6A High School All-Region Band Concert. These students have done some amazing work over the last 2 days. We rehearsed for 3 hours last night, and then since 9 a.m. this morning, you are in for an outstanding concert. If I haven't had the opportunity to meet you yet, my name is Mr. Mills. I'm one of the band directors here at Taft High School. I also serve as the Region 29 Band Division Chairman. It's my privilege and honor to introduce these outstanding students in the high school All-Region Band. In order to become a member of the All-Region Band, there are etudes. There's music that comes out at the end of July. Right when marching band is really kicking up and we've got all this time happening, we give them this really difficult music that they start preparing. Students that are here participated in 2 separate auditions, one in November and one in December, that qualified them for placement in our top ensemble. Parents, we would like to take a moment and recognize you for your endless support of your children and for the many hours that you have spent chauffeuring your kids from rehearsals, private lessons, concerts, music stores, buying all the reeds, the metronomes, all the things we break, all the things we forget, bringing them their marching shoes right before that contest. Parents, if you have a child that is up on this stage currently, can you please stand so that we can thank you? All right, I'm going to do a little off script here on this, something I believe in firmly as someone who is not from San Antonio and not from Texas. I come from a state that is not Texas, and when you teach band or you're in band, there's either Texas or not Texas. Those are the 2 categories of high school band and music education. I hope you understand, parents, how high quality the music education, particularly the band education culture is here in Central Texas, here in San Antonio in particular, and that comes from the institution that is our incredibly successful and driven and knowledgeable and empathetic band directors and private lessons staff. If you are currently a band director of a kid that is up on stage or their private lesson instructor, please stand so we can thank you for your endless hours of sacrifice. Especially in a marching band scenario, oftentimes we as band directors will spend more one-on-one time with these kids than maybe you as actual parents. And likewise, at the same time, every time in an evening or an early morning that we are here with your kids, we are not with our own families. So again, band directors, thank you for your sacrifice that you do. Thank you for your supervision of your kids and your artistry. I do want to take a moment and again continue off script. In a season in which it seems like every board meeting, whether it's SAISD, Northside, Northeast, doesn't matter what district we're talking about, it seems like every conversation comes back to funds. As class sizes get larger and funding comes into question, as we have all of these difficulties, parents, I'm talking directly to you, please make sure that your campus administrators know and understand how valuable music education is, and particularly band education is to the experience of your kids. Again, as someone who, yes, please. Where I come from, band programs of the size here in San Antonio would have 1 director in it. Point blank. That's just the cultural understanding. The fact that I'm privileged to work in a band program where, of course, you need 3 band directors to impart their knowledge on. I couldn't imagine doing what we do at Taft with only myself. And so, as we call into our attention funding for teachers and allocations and how many teachers are in the classroom, again, parents, make your voices heard, send that email, and we don't need to be negative, but please brag on the positivity and the quality that you get to see this evening. For me, as the Region Band Chairman, I get the advantage of inviting individuals to work with our students that I feel are going to bring a different perspective, that are going to represent a different piece of Texas, maybe a different piece of the world. And that is definitely going to be on display this evening. My role also takes me away a lot from my actual job, so I'd like to take a moment and thank my fellow directors here at Taft, Mr. Robert Soto and Mr. Jeremy Chapman, for all their help in facilitating the hosting of today's event. And of course, a huge thank you goes out to our administration, fine arts faculty, custodial staff, and our police department here at Northside ISD for allowing us to use Taft High School and disrupt the entire class schedule of a Friday after a 5-day week turned into a 4-day week because a holiday turned into a 3-day week. I'm sure there was no stress as a part of that. These kids legitimately went to 2 days of school this week, and I'm sure you weren't bummed about that at all. It almost became a 1-day week with Wednesday, but we thank those people at Taft for allowing us to use their facilities. At this time, I would like to introduce our band coordinators for the 6A Honor Band, the staff from Stevens High School, led by Mr. Adam Cassiano. We have Emma Williams, Ryan Williams, and Mr. John Brown. And before we introduce our final clinician and conductor for the evening, I do want to remind everyone that this concert is being professionally recorded. To ensure the best possible recording, please place all cell phones, electronic devices, smartwatches, beepers, Tamagotchis, into airplane mode and silence all sound from these devices. Please refrain from walking around during the performances and do not approach the stage while bands are performing. We do request that if you have a little one with you today that gets fussy, that you escort them outside. All right. Well, please welcome Mr. Adam Cassiano, our Stevens High School band coordinator. Thank you.
Okay. I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our next conductor. So Dr. Brandon Houghtalen currently serves as the Director of Athletic Bands and Associate Director of Bands at the University of Texas at El Paso. He previously held conducting positions at Abilene Christian University, the Georgia Institute of Technology, and the University of New Mexico. In 2018, he founded the On the List Project, a group of teachers that assists states as they work to make their required music lists more inclusive. His professional activities include frequent engagements as a guest conductor, clinician, and adjudicator, as well as conference presentations and social engagement projects. Recently, he has been featured on the podcast Triloquy and the Score and professional development events sponsored by CBDNA, TMEA, and NAFME. His research on James Reese, Europe, and the 369th Infantry Regiment Band led to the creation of new performing editions of the Memphis Blues and the St. Louis Blues. Houghtalen earned degrees in music education and conducting from the University of Tennessee, University of Colorado, and Arizona State University. His primary conducting teachers were Alan McMurray and Gary Hill. He's a member of CBDNA, TMEA, TVA, and Phi Nu Alpha, and serves on the Executive Advisory Council of the Institute for Composer Diversity. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 6A Honor Band under the direction of Dr. Houghtalen.
inspired by a light installation in Los Angeles. And so our thoughts are with our friends and our colleagues there as they recover from utter devastation. The next piece, by Nubia, Jaime-Donjuan, has not been played but by one other band in Texas, and that was the UTEP band. She is a composer, lives in Sonora. Her main teacher was Arturo Marquez. And if you know anything about classical music or music in Mexico, you know for sure the name Arturo Marquez. And Nubia is a new voice in the wind band medium. We are thrilled to perform her piece, Tundra. us probably have more arrangements for band than anything. Frank Ticheli did one. Don Grantham did one. Omar Thomas has done one. Omar Thomas is the only one that I know of that sets it actually in the mountains. And you hear the rain. And if you've been to that region of the country, I grew up in Tennessee. So I was right there at the Great Smoky Mountain National Park growing up, not knowing how beautiful I had it. And now I live in El Paso, which is it's beautiful in a different way. Very different mountains, right? So that's a lovely, lovely piece. I told the band, they're a giant big band. And if any parents or anybody is in the audience a big fan of Maria Schneider, you heard the influence she had on Omar Thomas and his own big band and his experiments with orchestration. Super cool. The next piece is entitled Apollo Unleashed. It's the final movement from Frank Ticheli's Second Symphony. It was dedicated to James Croft, the former director of bands at Florida State University. His students commissioned Frank Ticheli to write this piece as a thank you to his decades of service at Florida State. So it uses, at the end of the piece, a chorale setting of Bach, one of Jim Croft's favorites. So you'll hear that in the brass as the woodwinds are displaying the technique that you gave them through all of those lessons and private teaching and all of that time that you heard them since 6th grade doing this. You'll hear that in full evidence. So again, Frank Ticheli taught for 30 plus years at the University of Southern California, so it's another tip of our hat to our friends in California. His first job was at Trinity, though, and we count him as a Texan here. So we hope that you enjoy Frank Ticheli's third movement from his Second Symphony, which is entitled Apollo Unleashed.
we have our final number for the evening, I do want to take a moment and recognize a couple students we have here on stage that have been certified as TMEA All-State students. In order to make this ensemble, they have to go through 2 auditions, and in order to become an All-Stater, they go through an additional 3rd one. So we have, 8 of them up on stage here, and we recognized one about an hour ago. So first, in our jazz division, we have 3 students here. We have Mr. Gabe Jimenez on trumpet, #1 trumpet in jazz in the state of Texas. Also on trumpet from Taft High School, Mr. Christian Morales. Also on trumpet from Brandeis High School, Mr. Miguel Gonzalez. Given that they only take 10 trumpets in all of the All-State Jazz trumpet sections, it's pretty cool that 30% of them come from not only our region, but from Northside ISD. And representing us in the concert band ensembles at All-State here in February, joining us today from Harlan High School in the double bass section, Miss Emma DeGucci-Kelly. Not only an orchestra student, but she was selected to perform with the band All-State Ensemble. From Health Careers High School on flute, Miss Helen Lung. From Stevens High School in the percussion section, Mr. Ezra Casanova. In the clarinet section from Warren High School, Mr. Ezekiel Galvez. And also in our percussion section from Brandeis High School, Mr. Kevin Lynn. These students represent the best of Texas music education, and like I said last hour, the best in Texas also means the best in America. America. Give it up one more time, please. Congratulations, guys. We'll see you next month. All right, if I could have Dr. Houghtalen here, stay here at the podium with me. Like I said before, it is one of my duties is to invite different clinicians to come work with our students and to think about the perspectives that they bring. And Dr. Houghtalen and I have known each other for about 15 years now. It seems about every 5 years or so, we orbit one another and we come into contact. I met Dr. Houghtalen when he was getting his doctorate at Arizona State University, and I was getting my undergraduate degree at Arizona State University. And it felt, every time that I have seen him in every position he has been in every form he has taken, he finds a way to bring out the best in everyone around him. So it is my absolute pleasure and joy to be able to expose him to our students. I would never bring someone in that I don't wholeheartedly trust, and especially that not only representing Texas as a whole, but El Paso, UTEP, and just getting us some great exposure to everything that UTEP has to offer. Give it up for Dr. Houghtalen. I do have a plaque here that reads, in appreciation for your distinguished service and as a clinician for all the all-region bands on behalf of the directors, parents, and students. Marked today, January 25th, 2025. Congratulations, sir.
Briefly, thank you. It's an honor. It's all because of my wife and my family. Okay, so please tell her I said that. My son is a freshman, and he is in his region band starting tonight, so I can't wait to talk to him about how he's doing. I get to go home and see those concerts tomorrow. I hope Southwest does me right tomorrow, so I can get there for that. But it has been my honor to be here with you. These are fantastic students, you know that, but hear from a stranger. We met for the first time 26 hours ago. And they did that. They had never played any of this music before. I mean, a handful had played some of the music, but we had not met as an ensemble to do anything. And that's just such a special power. We used words like listen, collaborate, teamwork, togetherness. Hey, you know what? You've got the most important line, and I'm your background person, so I'm going to take a step back. The finest children in America are in music. And because music teaches so many skills that we desperately need as a society, like listen, collaborate, respect each other. And so, it's been my honor to be with them. The last piece we're going to play for you tonight is the closer of the Harlem Hellfighters 369th Infantry Regiment Band that made jazz a thing in France in World War I. The Parisians are still crazy about jazz because this band, the 369th Infantry Regiment, brought the earliest forms of jazz to France. And W.C. Handy, the father of the blues, wrote this, the Memphis Blues, because he was from Memphis. And he became a great arranger and cornet player in New York City. And then the bandmaster that they chose to lead the band was James Reese Europe, one of the most important musicians and composers that you've never heard of. But if your kids say, Mom, I have a gig, I can't because I've got rehearsal, I've got a gig, I've got a show. He invented the word gig. So if you've ever had a gig or will ever have a gig, you can think about James Reese Europe. This is the Memphis Blues, again, the Harlem Hellfighters closer. Several students play solos in this. You'll hear the 12-bar blues be invented right now that later became rock and roll and the rest of popular music. And so we hope you enjoy our version. Again, it's been my honor. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of your children's lives. And please don't let them stop, because I'm a college band director. One of the greatest joys that I have is giving you money for their fun in college. Okay? I know how much your band fees are. I pay my students that to march and to do symphonic band and to do other things. So wherever you go to college, ask the question, hey, my kid was pretty good, and do you have any scholarships available, even if they're not music majors? If it's a great school like UTEP, they do. Okay, they've got money for you. So let music be a part of what can help make the college experience possible for your kids. All right, that's enough for me. Let's play one more song. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for joining us. Please stay warm, stay safe, travel well, have a great night.